It is a hot summer afternoon. You are sitting outside, the sun is beating down on your skin, and you are holding a glass of iced tea. You take a sip. It is perfectly cold. You swirl the glass, and you hear that familiar, comforting sound. The ice clinking against the glass. You look down at it. The ice cubes are bobbing right at the surface, catching the sunlight. It is such a normal, everyday sight that you have never, ever stopped to question it. But you should. Because what you are looking at right now is a physical impossibility. It is a glitch in the universe, and it is the only reason you are alive to drink it. Think about how the world works. When things get cold, they shrink, they pack together, they get heavier. If you take liquid iron and freeze it into solid iron, the solid iron sinks. If you freeze liquid gold, the solid gold sinks. Every single substance in the known universe becomes denser and heavier when it turns from a liquid into a solid. Every substance, except one, water. When water freezes, it doesn't shrink, it expands, it becomes lighter. And so the solid ice floats on top of the liquid water. It is a tiny, microscopic rebellion against the laws of thermodynamics. And it all comes down to the shape of the water molecule, H2O. One oxygen atom, two hydrogen atoms, shaped kind of like a microscopic Mickey Mouse. When it gets freezing cold, instead of huddling tightly together to stay warm like every other molecule does, water molecules extend their arms. They form a delicate hexagonal lattice. They socially distance themselves. This leaves empty space inside the ice, making it less dense, making it float. Now, let us play a game. Let us change the rules of the universe. Just a tiny bit. What if we tweak the angle of those hydrogen atoms by just a fraction of a degree? What if we force water to act like every other normal substance in the universe? What if, when water freezes, it shrinks, gets heavier, and sinks? Look back at your glass. The ice cubes are no longer floating. They drop straight to the bottom with a heavy thud. You swirl the glass, but they stay anchored down there, heavy and dense. It seems harmless, right? Just a slightly annoying way to drink iced tea. But let us zoom out. Let us leave your summer afternoon and travel to a small, quiet pond in the middle of winter. The air temperature drops below freezing. The water at the surface of the pond turns to ice. Normally, this ice would float, forming a protective blanket over the pond. Beneath that blanket, the water stays liquid, and the fish, the frogs, the turtles, they all sleep peacefully through the winter, completely safe. But not anymore. In our new reality, the surface freezes, and because the ice is heavy, it sinks. A massive sheet of solid ice plunges to the bottom of the pond, crushing the hibernating creatures below. Now the surface of the pond is exposed to the freezing air again. So it freezes again, and that layer sinks too. Layer after layer after layer, the ice falls to the bottom. Within a few days, the entire pond is frozen solid from the bottom up. Every living thing inside it is perfectly encased in a tomb of heavy ice. And when spring comes, the sun's warmth can only melt the very top layer. The bottom remains permanently frozen. Now, let us scale this up. Let us go to the oceans, the Arctic, the Antarctic. Winter sets in. Millions of square miles of ocean surface freeze, and then they sink. Billions of tons of heavy, solid ice plunge into the deepest, darkest trenches of the ocean. Down there, thousands of feet below the surface, the heat of the sun can never, ever reach it. It is trapped in eternal darkness. The next year, more ice forms on the surface, and it sinks too, building upon the frozen graveyard below. Year after year, decade after decade, the oceans are filling up with solid ice from the bottom up. The sea levels drop dramatically, not because the water is gone, but because it is packed tightly into heavy ice at the bottom of the world. The ocean currents, the great conveyor belts that distribute warm water around the globe and regulate our weather, grind to a halt. Without the warm ocean currents, the continents freeze. The equator drops to sub-zero temperatures. The forests die. The animals starve. The Earth's atmosphere, no longer replenished by the algae in the living oceans, slowly runs out of oxygen. Within a few thousand years, the Earth is completely unrecognizable. It is a blindingly white, silent sphere of solid ice flying through the dark void of space. A planetary graveyard. There is no life. There is no human history. There is no you. All because the ice sank. So, bring your focus back. Back to the heat of the summer. Back to the glass in your hand. Look at that little floating cube of ice. It is a tiny geometric miracle. a microscopic exception to the rules of the universe that allows the oceans to breathe, the fish to swim, and humanity to exist. We spend so much time worrying about our lives, our jobs, our futures, completely unaware that our very existence is balanced on the microscopic distance between two hydrogen atoms. Take another sip, enjoy the cold, and remember, the next time you see ice floating in a glass, you are looking at the exact reason you are alive today.